Hi everyone, welcome back to Decoding with WINFO. I'm your host, Vihika Jain, and today I'm joined by Angela from Rolled Flower. She's a student entrepreneur here on campus, and we're so excited for you guys to get to know her and her story behind Rolled Flower today.
Thanks for having me on. I think this is one of the first times I've really gotten a chance to talk about Rolled Flower. So I think this is a good chance just because this is also a club at UW, and UW is something that I really connect with and kind of relate to Rolled Flower.
Awesome. Can you start by telling us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and then we'll get into Rolled Flower.
Yeah, so I've always been in Washington. I grew up in Kirkland, Washington, which is about 25 minutes away, so not too far, but coming to college, I wanted to live on campus, so I've lived the past three years here, and I'm currently studying marketing, and I'm actually going into my last year here too. I also really like entrepreneurship. I think that's also where I really wanted to start Rolled Flower, because in the past I've had a clothing brand which I did after the pandemic because I had a lot of time, and I think that was where I really started that passion, and I wanted to come to college to learn more about that.
Awesome. So you've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. Can you tell us the story behind Rolled Flower? Where did the idea come from, and what made you actually say that you wanted to start?
Yeah. Honestly, I was never really a baker, but I always loved cooking. And what I've learned is cooking is very different than baking, but I wanted to challenge myself. Because at first I was not good at baking, because I realized that baking is more a science, getting stuff right, getting the temperatures right. So it's not really something that you can improvise on, kind of like cooking. But I knew that I wanted to do some type of business. Just because I was finishing up college and I wanted to just take a little more risk and see what I liked and what could work out. So back in January, in the beginning of this year, I had some ideas, kind of trying out baking cookies and mini cupcakes, but I felt like it was I felt like anyone could really do that. So I tried different desserts, and I eventually got to cinnamon rolls, which was a lot harder than I imagined, because it takes I would say cinnamon rolls is a labor of love, because you actually have to put a lot of time for it to get right, but once you get it right and you bake it, I feel the end result is really worth it, and that's how I knew that Seattle needs this. So I wanted to do that with a twist, kind of like crumble cookies, how there's different flavors, and I want to rotate it every couple weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where.
That's so cool. What was that very first bake or pop-up like? The very first time, you wanted to put yourself out there. Did you expect it to take off the way that it did?
Yeah, I actually started just by doing small pickups at my apartment. So just baking around 20, 30 rolls a week. And then eventually I sent out a lot of rolls to influencers, kind of Seattle foodies. And that was where it kind of got traction, just because there wasn't a cinnamon roll based bakery kind of around our city. So I think that was where a lot of people got curious. So as soon as it got more traction, I started selling out from my pickup, and which is why I started to think of wait, should I start getting into pop-ups? And then a couple cafes reached out to me, and my first pop-up was Yoga Tea, which is a pretty big cafe, and they started from a pop-up, and then now they're at their brick and mortar, and they wanted to do a first pop-up at their new store. So that was where we did our first pop-up. And I would say it's definitely not what I expected. Definitely from baking like 30 rolls to like over 100 rolls was like a big like lesson for me. I think for my first pop-up, just like timing and like baking times, and then but eventually like once the pop-up came, like it went great, and then I think it was like really worth it. It really taught me like timing, like buying the right quantities. But I think as like I've been doing like more and more pop-ups, I've been getting like the hang of it better.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you did all of that while balancing your student career and running this growing business. How did you balance those two?
Yeah, I think what made it a little easier is that I started doing pop-ups kind of when like school ended, because I knew that I wasn't going to be working a lot in the summer, so I knew that I would have more time. So like that was kind of like the moment that I really wanted to like push out as much pop-ups and stuff as I can, which I ended up doing like a pop-up every week, which kind of took like prep days and then the pop-up. So I really like didn't get a break. And then I think at like after like 2 months, I like actually got like sick, because like I was like overworking myself. But again, I feel like that taught me like a lot of lessons. So now I like do it every like 2 weeks, or just set a limit so that I'm able to like balance my social life, my family life, and for rolled flour.
Yeah, that's really important. Now we'll go into building the brand. How exactly did you build your brand identity? Was there a moment when you felt like people started recognizing rolled flour as more than just a side hustle?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot about this through my major, especially through marketing classes. I think it really taught me to like narrow down an idea and really find what can make like you stand out. Like I think just because again like cinnamon roll based, like I could have done like a bakery, I could have sold like a lot of stuff, but I really wanted to narrow it down and niche it to just cinnamon rolls, so that when like you think of cinnamon rolls, you would think of rolled flour. And I also chose my name to be rolled flour, just so that you would think like, okay, like that's cinnamon rolls. But the name, I also wanted it to be like simple, like just like a couple ingredients made from scratch, and then like keeping it simple enough for that people, when like they hear the name, they'll like know what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, how does the product lifestyle of rolled flour look like? Like when you have the idea, and how do you bring it into production, and then marketing and delivery? How long does that process normally take?
Yeah, I think in the beginning the idea was there, but just like eventually, if like I had to like grow it, and like if I'm always changing flavors and then doing pop-ups at like different places, I kind of have an idea like plans a lot ahead, just so that I can have a lot of ideas ready for when like cafes reach out for pop-ups. And sometimes those aren't in advance, so like I would have to like think of like a quick product. But what I also like to do for pop-ups is I try to make my flavors based on their current drinks, so that would bring attraction not only for my like small business, but it will also help like their community as well.
Yeah, for sure. I know you utilize a lot of social media as your marketing strategies. Was there a specific reason you really wanted to focus on social media as your digital strategy? Does it help with engagement? And how have you found the Seattle community to kind of engage with that content?
Yeah, I think this goes back to like why I picked my major in like the first place, because I feel like marketing is a very important aspect of like any business kind of, just because like you can have a good idea, but if not a lot of people know it, or if it's not getting out to like the right audience, then like that can be a problem. So like just think a way to like niche it down. So for me, I was trying to find people who like wanted to try new things, but also with something that they're pretty familiar with, which is cinnamon rolls, but like something that's more unique other than like cookies and stuff.
Yeah.
So just like really prioritizing that, reaching out to like not only influencers but like Seattle-based like foodie influencers. So really pushing it out because I feel like social media nowadays is widely used. So.
Yeah, for sure. What's something that you've learned from running a business that maybe your business classes didn't teach you?
Yeah, I think just like running
Yeah.
a business is the big.
I bet there's so many things.
Yeah, because if it was that easy, then I feel like anyone could do it.
Yeah.
Because like anyone can bake, anyone can like create something, can make clothing or anything, but just like finding and operating the business, which I think is something you can't just search up and just learn. But I think with trial and error and the lessons you go. So I think like also like my biggest advice for like anyone who like wants to start a business is just like get it going. I feel like just like getting started is like the biggest part.
Yeah.
And then you'll eventually learn your way around.
That's great advice. If you had to pick one skill that's helped you the most as a student founder, what would it be?
I think definitely making sure that you're doing something that you actually enjoy, I think. Because like that will be your biggest thing to like keep on going. Because like if like you run into like failures and like mistakes, it's really easy to like want to quit. But if like you're passionate about it, I feel like it'll really help you like drive and keep on going.
For sure.
And then also like when I like started my clothing brand business, like that honestly like did really well. I made it like a 5-figure business in like under like a month. Like I sold out in like 2 minutes on my very first drop. But I ran it for like a year and I realized that it was just something that I wasn't as passionate about, and I wanted to do something more in the future that I like enjoyed more. So that's why I like tried a couple stuff. Like I tried to like drop ship. I like tried to sell on like Etsy and stuff like that. And then eventually I got into baking, and I feel like that is where I think my passion is.
Yeah.
I want to keep it.
What's been some of your biggest challenges as a student entrepreneur, and how do you push through them? I know you mentioned always being motivated and passionate about your end goal is a great motivation, but what are some other ways that you push through your challenges?
Yeah, I think like right now, I think even my biggest challenge, like since starting, is just like doing this by myself and like getting like the right help and like the right resources. Like I feel like it really takes a toll on you if like you're doing this by yourself. Like you handle everything by yourself, and I feel like not just like physically like all like what I have to do for the business, but also like a mental toll too. Because I feel like who can I talk to that can like relate to this? So just like pretty much just trying to reach out more and trying to reach out to like other small businesses and really find that community. And then once like you share what like you're going through and asking for help about like what I need to do, I think that really helped me a lot.
Yeah, for sure. That was the perfect leeway into our next section about community. You mentioned you've done some amazing collaborations and partnerships with local businesses around Seattle. How do those kind of pop-ups and partnerships normally come together?
Yeah, pretty much when I look for a partner to like collab with or like do a pop-up with, I try to find a place that goes well with my cinnamon rolls and how my products would go well with like their products. So right now I've been trying to focus on more cafes and like stuff like that, because I think like a drink, like a coffee would go like well with a cinnamon roll. And I never thought that matcha would go well with a cinnamon roll, but ever since we had our first pop-up, like I realized like that could be like a big trend in like Seattle, like matcha and cinnamon rolls. Just because there's a lot more matcha cafes just opening up around Seattle.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to do pop-ups with places that just opened too, just so like we can go through it together, and I feel like it could create like a buzz too for people who like want to try out both.
For sure. A little bit more on the looking ahead side, where do you see Rolled Flower going next? Or how do you hope to evolve the product and brand after your graduation?
Yeah, so I'm going into my last year, so I have to figure out soon what I want to do with Rolled Flower. But I've been talking to like a lot of cafe owners about like their like experience of like starting like a whole like storefront kind of, and they like really told me that like if I really want something, then I should really try it out, because you never know when a time like this can pop up again.
Yeah.
So I think I still want to try and see what I can do. So I'm gonna spend this year really like doing the most that I can, because I really want to try to get something out. So just like pushing it forward and just keep doing what I'm doing and keep up with this like innovative take on cinnamon rolls.
For sure. I'm so excited to see where it goes. Lastly, what is one piece of advice you already mentioned, doing something passionate or doing something that you're passionate about is the best motivation, but what is one piece of advice that you would give to students who also want to start building something new, whether it's a product, a service, or a startup, and they're not sure where to start?
Yeah, I think honestly, like this is the best time to like do that, just because you're a student right now, you're surrounded with like the most like amount of people who are like around your age and are part of the same community. So really utilize that resource of how there's a lot of clubs. If like you need like a videographer, go see like and like meet like people from like that club, or like honestly meet as many people as you can, and then realize that like you guys can all work together. Like I've talked to like some students who want to work on website like building, and like that not only can help me, but it can help them with like their resume too. So I think like finding like a win-win for like students is like the best time right now, just because we're all trying to learn and gain some experience.
For sure, definitely. And then lastly, to finish off, if you can go back to day one, what is something that you would tell your past self?
If I could go back to day one, I would just definitely just tell myself to like keep trying it out. Like it was like really scary at first, just because it was like a lot of risks, not only financially, but like I'm putting myself out there. So just like don't be afraid and just try it out, because you never know like what can happen and like how it can grow. So what you put in is what you will get out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was an amazing episode. We learned so much, and we can't wait to see where Rolled Flower goes next. If you'd like to support Rolled Flower, we'll leave their information down below, and stay tuned for the upcoming episodes of Decoding with WINFO. Thank you.